can move over if you want. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, July 8th, 2014. We have a village board meeting, 7:03 or so? And following that, we'll have a committee of the whole meeting. So our first order is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, Ms. Sherby. Would you please call the roll?
New chairs.
Trustee Calhoun.
Present.
Trustee Peterson, absent. Trustee Perry.
Present.
Trustee Rita.
Present.
Trustee Stecker.
Present.
Trustee Yorkovich is absent.
Present. I did have a call from Paul just before the meeting tonight. Apparently, there was some power outage. They hit something when they were doing some Mariano's thing and hit the power and knocked them out. And when the power came back on, none of his refrigerators and stuff were working. So that's within the last hour. So he was out to lunch, so to speak, until it gets repaired. Okay, item 4, presentations. Anything? Hearing nothing. Item number 5, public comments. Give as many visitors as possible an opportunity to speak. And we'll try to adjourn by 9. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes on active or general matters. So if anyone would like to address the board, step up. Your name and address for our clerk so we can put it in our minutes, and then ask whatever questions. Hopefully we'll be able to answer them.
Hello,
Good evening.
we are the Johnsons at 1137 Newcastle, and we get quite a bit of water in the alley coming into the yard now. So that's one of the reasons that we are here.
Okay, the water's where? In your basement, in your yard?
No,
Where?
Not in the basement, in the alley, come out of the alley into the backyard.
Okay, 1137 on Newcastle. Our Public Works Director is here, Mr. Lewis. Have you previously had similar problems? Have you called it in? Have we missed something, or you know, because you have a gravel alley, I'm guessing?
No,
You have a paved alley? It's
grass.
Okay, well, you know what we'll do is we'll check our vacation plat to see if it's been vacated. If it's been vacated, then the properties have been given to either, homeowners. If it's not vacated, then it's our issue, and Mr. Lewis will address that. Maybe it needs to be graded. Maybe it hasn't been graded in so long if there's grass in the middle. The other alleys I know that are gravel in your neck of the woods there's really no grass in the middle. I mean, it's pretty much stone, correct? I mean, I'm saying in your alley.
I only know about it's grass.
You've got grass, but I'm saying in other alleys that you've driven by, they're either paved
yeah,
or they're gravel, right?
Some of it has been paved, but we've been there for 12, 14 years, and it's been
Okay.
grass ever since. When
Okay.
I moved there.
Is this the first time you've experienced the water stuff?
Like,
This bad, yes.
This bad, okay,
But the last year or so,
okay.
it don't go through the ground. It just stand there. Go when it's ready to go.
Okay, so as there's obviously a low spot somewhere along the road. We'll have Mr. Lewis and the crew check it out tomorrow. Okay.
I had called in, you sent someone out to see the damage that I was talking about.
Okay. Someone did come out recently?
Right, and he said he's gonna bring it and give it to somebody here, whoever in charge.
Okay, well, that's Mr. Lewis. We'll figure out where it is, but now the boss knows about it, so we'll definitely take a look at it tomorrow and see what's what.
Right, because see, it's like this. I love plants, I love flowers. This water is eating it up,
Yeah.
taking over. They cost money. Then the mosquitoes is building up from the water. So we do need some help.
Okay. Well, we'll see what's up there. Okay? All right.
Robert, would you get their phone number?
Oh.
Good evening.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Mariana Nicolai. I live at 1128 Portsmouth. I have the same problem. I live at this address since 1989. And in the past 4 years, since the big flood on July 22nd, 4 years ago, 2010, I see the soil going down, feeling more compacted. Roots are coming out from the big trees. And the alleys actually flooded every single time when it rains. The last time, 1 week ago, the water didn't go anywhere for 3 days.
Mhm.
And it's spilled into my backyard, like, almost 1/3. Just like my neighbor, I have a lot of plants and vegetables, and
Mhm.
everything was ruined. My point is that all the interstitial air that is between soil particles now probably is gone, and now we have only clay there because the water, presses down. By the way, I'm a master gardener, so I know this kind
Mhm.
of things. And the alley was with grass since I moved there. Never been, with gravel or anything to that.
Let me ask you this question. Again, we'll look at the vacation list as well. Are there garages that people access off your alley?
Only, as far as I know, only one. Which
In the middle or the end of the block?
It's in the middle of the block toward Devonshire.
Okay, because that could be a reason that it was not vacated. Generally, if there were no garages on the alleys, we would have vacated it and given you half the land, and then the other half the land, if there's utilities overhead or underground, then obviously we have to have some kind of access to get it, but we would have given that to you. But we'll look at the thing, and Robert has another look at it. We'll take a look and see. The majority of all the alleys over there do not have any sewer systems in them. They were never put in ever, and I can tell you for the last probably 50 years, they were talking village-wide about alley paving, not paving. Some alleys got paved. There was a grant that was out there from our representative was able to get the engineering paid for, and then the homeowners chipped in and got it paved. But they had to have 100% participation. Somebody didn't want to pay because it was like a special service type area where you paid for X amount of years until it was paid off. So I don't know. I know your alley specifically. That's why I asked about where the garages are at. But we'll certainly take a look at it and see if there's a resolve for you one way or the other. Okay?
Would be a written response to us?
Yeah. This is our Public Works Director, Mr. Lewis. He is a certified engineer. He'll go out there and take a peek at both of them. They're right next to one another, and get back to you. But he's the contact person. That's his bailiwick. Okay.
I'm looking forward, and by the way, I work in regulatory, so.
I'm sorry?
I work in the regulatory and plumbing, so I know a little bit about this kind of thing. So I am looking forward to have a written answer.
Okay.
from the village. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. You're up. You look like you're the only one standing. If you wouldn't mind identifying yourself for our clerk there so we can keep an accurate record in our minutes.
All right. Well, my speech is going to be short. I'm
That's
Hector
okay.
Lozano. I live in 1131 Newcastle, which I'm a neighbor of theirs, and I came for the same problem.
Okay.
I've been living in the house for close to 9 years, and it's the same. Every time it rains hard, it's like we
Yeah.
have like a little lake here. And this past years has been terrible. I got 4 kids, and they cannot even go out to the
Yeah.
backyard because there's so much mosquito. They
Yeah.
come out and they almost get eaten alive.
Yeah, I know, what was it, the last board meeting we had like 2.5 to 2 to 2.5 inches of rain within X amount of time. I mean, we had water coming up in our lobby,
Yeah.
and in the police department and Public Works. I mean, the sewer systems alone couldn't, accept it that much, that quickly, so I could just imagine where there's no sewers, and there might be a low spot someplace. I know if you look on Suffolk, 700 block, you got the same situations that, there wasn't anything provided back when this stuff was built. The other issue is, you have, and I'm not sure if you're in the floodplain or not in the floodplain, but in other areas north of you, you have different heights of garages. So you have an apron up here and then an apron down here of a 50-year-old garage. How do you put something in that it's not going to impact one or the other? So you're going to drive up a ramp or you're going to drive underground. I mean, there's some difficulties with that as well. But he'll take, Robert's our engineer, will take a peek at that. He's going to be on it anyway. And he can get back to you as well with some of the findings.
All right, okay. I mean,
Right.
like I said, been doing this for 9 years, and I see that every year is worse,
Worse.
and worse, and worse. There is a problem now.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming. Robert, you had a comment?
Yeah, just a quick search of the Cook County Assessor's Office indicates that that property has been, that alley has been vacated. So the first 3 houses on the north side of the block still have an alley that's Village of Westchester, but south of those 3 homes, and these addresses are south,
Okay.
that alley has been vacated.
All right, well, we'll check the records there and see where we're at, and maybe there's some remedies that are out there that we can help them with. Okay, great. Well, thank you. All right. Thank you very much. Anyone else? You're welcome to stay. Usually we're here till midnight, so. Okay. Public hearings. I don't think we have any. Consent agenda number 7. Approval of the bills, $655,997.85. Approval of the minutes, executive session, board, committee of the whole, community development reports, fire, police, public works, ordinance authorizing the sale of surplus property in the village, resolution approving change order number 1 for the paving component of the 2014 street program. Mike, would it be prudent for us to put an amount in there?
I've got the amount for
Okay.
you. $73,199.11.
Okay, so we'll add 73,199.11 to item number E to make sure that we're in compliance. And a resolution authorizing the execution of the amendment to a professional engineering agreement for the Enterprise Drive $2 million or 2 million gallon high tank exterior painting project between Christopher Burke Limited and the Village of Westchester.
That doesn't involve any monetary issue. That's adding certain audit requirements to the engineer's contract. And with respect to the sale of the surplus property, I believe that's 3 police vehicles, correct, Chief?
Right, we're checking right now. It's
So,
Volkswagen Jetta, Ford Crown Victoria, with the engine in the 2001 Dodge.
hopefully that's enough information for the public that's not present.
Okay, and if we can, Mike, under exec session, I would like to add a litigation piece,
Okay?
but I will, I'll ask you when we get into exec session if it fits,
Okay?
okay? So I'm not sure what the site is, if it's C2 or C3, I'm sorry, but add that. Okay. Is there a motion and a second for their approval of A through F?
So moved. Second.
Nick, Frank, roll call.
Trustee Calhoun.
Aye.
Trustee Perry.
Aye.
Trustee Rita.
Aye.
Trustee Stecker.
Aye.
President Bowie.
Aye, motion carries. Let's see, active agenda, I don't see anything on there. Managers report, Janet, what have you to report?
Okay, just a few things. Just want to do a little parade wrap up. We had a beautiful day. Parade went off really well, and I think a great time was had by all, including the refreshing popsicles afterwards. just please everybody come on out. Thursday night, we're having movie night. We are featuring Back to the Future. That will be a community park at dusk. Mark your calendars for not this weekend, but the following weekend, Friday night, July 18th, Saturday, July 19th. We're having our Barbecue and Blues Festival at Community Park. It will be, I believe, from 5 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. on Friday and noon to 10:30 p.m. on Saturday. August 5th, we will have our National Night Out march from Faith Lutheran Church to the Community Park, which will end the night with a movie in the park, which I believe the winner of our resident voting for their favorite movie, we will be showing Grease. That's right. There you go. And then August 16th, we will be having a music festival at High Ridge Park, followed by a fireworks show. So hopefully everybody will come out and enjoy the events.
I'm told that Chief Carpino is going to be the John Travolta look-alike. He's actually going to go find that wig that he wore in 1972 in the village of Addison and put that bad boy on there. So I think that, the closest thing to Olivia with blonde hair in the room is Maureen. So,
practice summer loving.
yep. So get ready. So, all right. Thank you. Michael.
We successfully concluded our negotiations with the Public Works Department. Do you have in your possession, Janet, the executed contracts by them?
I do.
Usually the union rep will let me know if they're had their ratification vote and what the results are, especially if it's successful. They didn't do that this time. They just brought the signed contracts in. So we should have that on the agenda for the next meeting. There's no need to discuss it any further. We've had several executive sessions with this, so it'll be on the agenda for a vote next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Board members, Frankie, anything EDC? You had a meeting this week, right?
We had no meeting this week.
Was it last week?
Next
I'm sorry. Okay, Tommy's not here with the cab. Green, you got something coming up.
Saturday, we have a recycling event out here, electronic.
Is your
recycling
meeting
event.
going to
Our
on the
meeting
10th?
is going the 10th. We have not had a meeting in a month, so nothing else.
Because I did invite Edith Macra from the Mayor's Caucus. I had a meeting today, Environmental Committee in Franklin Park, and I sent her the invitation, so I'm not sure
And we
last minute, but I sent one to her.
And we did add that to the agenda, so,
Okay, so hopefully she'll be able to show. She has an intern named Libby, and then what they're trying to do is try to compile all the municipalities that actually have a commission that we put an ordinance behind to create and/or ad hoc stuff. Because I said, I'm pretty ignorant of what you guys have been doing since 2007. None of us were here, and I would imagine a lot of the mayors that were hired in 2009 don't know what you're all about, what you're doing. I said, we're probably doing 10 or 15 things that you guys are talking about.
well, that's good, because,
So-
I'm going to present what
Hopefully
information I have,
Okay.
as far as that, those certifications and all that, and, so if somebody shows up, that'll just reinforce,
Great,
give more information, so.
great, thank you. Nikki, anything?
No, they rescheduled the Police and Fire Commission meeting until the 14th. They're gonna amend their rules, and they'll be approving it at that meeting. And then they were looking at some target dates for the lieutenant's exam for fire. But Greg, we should probably be getting a meeting together soon for 911. So probably have something next day or next meeting we'll schedule a meeting for 911.
Great. Celestine, anything for
Nothing
the
this
game?
evening.
Nothing? Chief, anything? First of all, let me congratulate you on both of you for the parade activities. Parade, like Janet said, was wonderful. The addition of the Chicago police cars, the old ones, I know
That was cool.
Luke was able to secure his and others to get in there, and other municipalities had old squad cars in there. People have been talking about them at length.
Yeah, there's a group of people with, in fact, on their, I think it's squadcars.com or whatever, they actually have a picture of me next to a 76 Chevy when I was a police officer in Addison with that mop of hair you're talking about.
I've seen that.
That's
Oh
long
my
gone.
God.
It's hanging in my office if you'd like to see it. I'm sure Greg's going to find it for you here in a second. So. Anyways, that's a group of people that have those old cars. And the one officer that was there retired from Hanover Park. That was the actual police car he drove in the 80s.
There he is.
That's you?
That's me.
That's him?
That'd be me.
Oh my God.
Porn stash and all. That's it.
He looks like Travolta, doesn't he?
That's as good as it gets. That was police work at its finest about 40 years ago.
Looked like Al Pacino in Serpico.
Ooh-ah. Okay, put that away.
Wait, I gotta get a picture.
Should put that on the website.
No thanks. You had inquired about fireworks complaints, and we checked from Thursday through Saturday. We responded to 34 calls of complaints for fireworks. Last year at the same time frame, in 2013, we responded to 27 total calls. This year responded to 34 calls, so it was up by 7. And it was, just the typical phone calls of people blowing off fireworks, loud noises. I asked the one party who had sent an email to me a week prior to the 4th of July from the area of 30th and Kensington, saying this is an ongoing problem. I actually had an unmarked car in the area, driven by a sergeant on the 4th of July. Couldn't specifically locate where these loud bombs were going off, but LaGrange Park, Broadview all had similar complaints. And it's one of those things, as you know, during the parade route, someone let off a pretty large, significant device right towards the end of the event. So it's like, I turned around and whoever it was, they were gone. So no one was injured that I'm aware of. The fire chief can report on that, but we did respond to calls for service where people were reporting 2 complaints on Thursday, 28 on the 4th of July, and 4 on Saturday the 5th. And of course, it's all over now. So did our due diligence, and I asked the one resident that was concerned about everything in the past if she'd meet with me next year to try to identify who these people are specifically and an address. I'll be glad to set up a plan and try to apprehend whoever these people are that she's referring to. But as you know, most people don't want to get that involved. They just want to make the complaint and hang up, and we'll investigate every call we get. So that's all I have to report.
Great. Thank you, Chief. And again, great job. Jimmy?
Thank you. The Nictron. Station 1, it's installed, in-house tested. Station 2, they started this week. It should take less than a week. They'll in-house test that over there. And then Norcom's got something to do on their end, which Mercury Systems been working directly with them. And as soon as that's in place on their side, we put it all together, and we're partially using it now. Besides the alerting, all the speakers and wiring's been changed over. So actually we're hearing just our in-house paging and everything better than we ever have. So just a big improvement already. So,
Good.
But that's about all I have. Just gearing up for barbecue and blues fest and good stuff.
Could
like
you make
that.
sure they make that label, Nictron, though?
It's funny you should say that,
You know what I mean?
because
We gotta-
Greg was over today and we were looking at it and he suggested, I've got a label maker, I'll get on that.
Okay.
All right, that's all I
Thank
have.
you.
Thank you.
Uh,
I just wanted to recognize both the police and the fire department. The police department, I'll tell you what, I can't even imagine. I'm looking at these numbers for the June statistics, and so far, calendar year to date, 313 arrests. This is up from 173 last year. Felony arrests have more than doubled. I mean, it's just, these numbers are, and workman's comp days, disability days have been cut in half, sick days are down. It seems like the department has really made a big turnaround in the last year. Activity is way up. Guys are getting out there and doing the job, and people are coming to work, which I like to see. So I gotta give kudos to Chief Carpino. And then also, I gotta give kudos to the fire department as well. They had an interesting call I believe it was one of our new firemen, Leza, Swede, DeBoer, Sudaz, and Groom. They delivered a baby. That doesn't happen every day by any means, and it was one of those calls where it came in as something, and they're, oh, nope, she's having a baby. So it's one of those calls that you definitely don't get all the time, and I was glad to see that it was successful, and so kudos to those guys.
And you know what, along those lines, I do have to recognize the other new firefighter we had along. I'm not sure who the crew was with. Unfortunately, the outcome wasn't as good, but actually he had performed what they call a surgical crike, which is, again, something we don't normally do. It's an advanced airway procedure where they surgically go into the trachea directly. Elmhurst said they did an outstanding job doing that. Unfortunately, the results weren't so good, but it just shows the confidence that our new guys already brought to Westchester.
That's awesome.
And that they're using their skills to their fullest potential, really, to be honest with you. So,
No,
also
that's awesome.
for firefighter Heiderman. So,
Nice. Wow.
thank you.
Great, thank you. You're up, Olivia.
I was at the parade as well, although my role was village photographer. I don't think you'll have to worry about me leaving anytime soon to pursue that career. But it was a great parade. Thank you. We have been busy, of course, getting ready for the audit that shall begin in about 4 weeks. And recently, we have accepted the resignation of our utility clerk. However, though, I did make an offer to Amy Lawson, who has accepted and will be joining us starting this week on Thursday.
Beautiful, good,
And so we're moving along, but
good,
that's all I have.
great. Gregory.
As Janet had mentioned about the movie, that was something I was going to bring up very briefly, and I just lost it here. But yeah, the overwhelming support for Grease was there, and shows that our website's opinion poll does bring in a lot of traffic. So if anybody's got any ideas, anything they wanted to put up there, find out what the public's looking for. I know CAB, EDC is always doing polls and things like that, and various other paper manner. But if there's a question or something you want thrown out onto the website, please let me know. Looking to put something up there. I believe Robert's going to talk possibly about this, but a discussion was had with him earlier with regards to the generator process that's going to occur within this building. When that occurs, my only concern or information that I'd like to pass on is there may be some downtime when it comes to things such as our internal computer systems. We're going to try to minimize that during work hours. Again, that's still being discussed. But what I'll be doing prior to any work actually being done, I will send a mass email as far in advance as I know that this is going to occur, that the system would be down. So email, again, some of our internal services that we use, hopefully after hours, will be affected. But I will try and give as much notice as possible to minimize that.
Greg, is there any way to hook up the portable generator to that to keep stuff operating? I mean, we got the portable one that we used to use for 911 before we had the gas
Yes. Now the question is how long will it take? And that's one of the questions that are still sitting out here. We do have battery backups on there that'll last 45 minutes. Our internal conversation went around, will it be a 10-minute process? Will it be a cutover that will only require them to have it pre-wired in just a few minutes of work, which would not affect anything? But I just wanted to prepare in case. Taking down the servers and then rebooting them is about a 20-minute process for each of the devices. So if we determine that this might not even be necessary, that the batteries will be able to sustain the process, we're going to try our
I know
best to
we
do that.
do have one we could.
We've got several, yes.
We could utilize, I think.
We've got several that would be able to cover the requirements of that. But I just wanted to let everybody know ahead of time so that they're not surprised when they receive that email. That's all I have today.
Great, thank you. Robert, you're up.
Just want everyone to know that Unique Plumbing has been given notice to proceed on the Portsmouth sewer. They should begin this Thursday, so we're met with them in the field today, and we discussed several issues. So that's going to begin. We've received a lot of calls about brush pickup. Now, we delayed brush pickup because of the 4th of July holiday and the parade. Just because we've received so many calls, we're going to resume that schedule this Friday, and we will catch up. It's just a little change in the schedule just this last week. So we did.
And it was in the last newsletter, bright
Yes, it
and
was.
in big letters and
We still got
whatever,
about 20
highlighted
calls,
and
so-
whatever. There's a lot of brush out there I've seen in my area, so they're either not reading it or,
Well, when we get storms, we get
Yeah.
brush, and I think from the records I've seen, you quoted the storm intensities about right. It's recorded 2.2 inches for that last storm we had during the last board meeting. And for the end of July, that's 9.36 inches of rain, excuse me, for June. That's the second wettest June on record. The norm is about 4 inches, so we've had a lot of rain. And I think we've avoided major flooding, primarily how the rain came, and then making sure we do a lot of proactive movements in town. We like to clean the sewers and pump the ponds down when we see a storm coming, so we have as much capacity in our storage ponds and clear conveyance in our storm sewers prior to the rain events. So we've been shifting some of our priorities to prepare for these weather events. I think that just gives us a little bit more capacity to absorb the rain and get it downstream. We also have made our Phase 1 permit submittal for the excavation of Mayfair. So we'll be meeting tomorrow to discuss where we are with that project, and we hope to see that move quicker and get more volume in the Mayfair pond.
yeah, you're not the only one. We want it quick.
Okay. For our water system, just an update. Crestwood Control Project is on schedule. We've done a couple trial runs, and they've worked well. We're also working on the change order we brought here for the upgrading the remote chlorine read system. So they're working on that. I think we've had good success with Allen ICS so far. They're really experts in this field, and it's good to work with these guys because they're fast, they're quick, and they're inexpensive compared to some of the other that we've worked with. On water breaks, we've had 40 this year. We typically get 30 in a year. So this is an increased amount, and we are spending more resources chasing after the leaks. Some of this is due to the leak detection survey that we have done. So we identify about a dozen of those leaks that we normally wouldn't find, but we have an additional amount. We should be about 15 or 20 beyond that by this time this year, but we're not. We're about double. So a lot of factors that have to do with that. But we've had an extraordinary winter. We think that's contributing to a lot of the breaks we've been finding. We will be draining the southwest elevated water tank. We think late July for painting. We have to drain that tank for maintenance reasons. We can't have condensation on the outside. If we have water in it, we can't have this paint stick unless the tank is down. What that means for the residents is most likely we'll have a water ban in effect once that tank is drawn down. So we'll make an announcement of that at the time that occurs.
I think Janet had that in the last newsletter as well.
Yes.
Yes.
We covered that. When you say drain it down, we're not just dumping it in the overflow. We're letting it utilized until it's lower.
Yes,
I mean,
drain by use. We
Yeah, okay,
start
that's all.
several weeks in advance of when we
I
need
got
it at a certain.
I don't want to
level.
waste it because I know there's an overflow there.
We do not waste it. We buy it, so we want to
Okay.
sell it.
No waste.
Yeah. So we by consumption, it's brought down. 2014 street program, we should be finalizing Phase 1 here real quick and getting ready to start Phase 2.
You know when they're supposed to be paving or the contract paving, like on Wakefield and that? Is that?
Yeah, I don't have that date, but they need to complete within the next 10 days or so, so.
Okay, so it's
um,
gonna be
they-
by the end of this month?
They need to do that or
Okay.
eclipse and be faced with liquidated damages if they
Okay.
eclipse their completion date, so. I know they're anxious to get going again, and so that should move forward. Change orders are tracking at about 6%. We told you we'd give you more detail. It looks like phase 2 would track about the same, so we should be within the amount of money we had budgeted for this with the low bids that we got and the change orders that we're assuming because of the short quantities. So there'd be I'm anticipating another change order in the $75,000–$80,000 range as was on phase 1.
Okay.
That's all I have.
All right, you know, while I got you on the communication piece here, I know we've been working with the street lights that have had some issues. We got about 30 or so that are out, probably due to lightning strikes. I know the one by my son's house on Portsmouth, we lost 2. One was a beacon flashing like a strobe. So I saw John Discoing with his John Travolta outfit out there.
Yes.
And the other one was out. And I know we've gotten some calls, and I know other trustees have been approached by individuals regarding the lights, because it is dark as dark over there when they're out. I know they're working on it. I know the vendor's been out. There's ballast or something that blew, and we have parts ordered. And I know it's tough to get a time of it'll be on by tomorrow or next week or whatever, but are you comfortable with the process that, oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
the
can't talk
problem
anymore.
is with our LED lights that were installed, the incandescent system seems to be working fine. We've had a couple electricians out there trying to spot the problem, and it's taken a little bit. If you can't find the problem, you can't fix it. But it appears to be lightning related, and we've traced the entire system out to where we think it's called a driver. It's similar to a ballast in like a lighting system like this, like we have in the meeting room here tonight. We believe those ballasts burned out from an overcharge from a lightning strike. These are, however, under warranty, and we're dealing with the installer to reorder those. In fact, tonight is the last part of our exploration out there. We've got a crew out there. As soon as it gets dark, we're going to do one more drive-through to get the number of lights that are out, so we can have the installer order the amount of drivers that we need to replace. And after tonight, we'll give him that number, and then he will order these. We should. His expectation was within 4 or 5 days he should receive the replacement parts after we give him the number that he needs, and then the install will begin. I would hope by the end of this month we will have found all the defective ones, and we'll have begun the replacement and replaced as many as possible by the end of this month.
Okay. The other topic that crept up a little bit today, and then Greg touched on a little bit, is the generators. I know you had some bid openings and some questions for the board as far as is it going to be on the cow? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. We won't go there then. All right.
Yes, I have something prepared, but my expectation was at the committee of the whole meeting,
Okay.
we'd talk about it under new business.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
I see the new homeowner is hiding behind the desk there on vacation and came back.
Yep, came in just for tonight's meeting.
Yes. Your turn.
Just wanted to let everybody know, we have our next facade grant application, Christos, at Cermak in Manheim, applied, so
Nice.
hopefully they'll be before you soon. Mariano's and Sherwin-Williams are both progressing. I don't know if you've driven by there, but I know I drove by there after the 4th, and we've got walls up, and so things are moving along at Sherwin-Williams especially. And last month, my department issued 173 permits, 90 contractors' licenses, 281 inspections. It was a monthly construction value of $9.5 million. $7.5 million of that was for Mariano's.
Nice.
That's really about it for tonight.
Okay. I have nothing. There's an executive session planned for 5LX 122C1, appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body. Also 5LX 122C2, collective negotiation matters. I would imagine we'll talk a little bit about PW and that, and others. And I've added C on litigation, 5LX 122C11.
Sam, is that pending litigation or threatened?
Threatened.
Have to specify that. It's
Yeah.
threatened litigation then, okay.
But I'll qualify that when we get into
Okay.
that. With that, if there's nothing else, is there a motion and a second to adjourn the board meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Celeste and Nikki. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition, say no.